The doorbell shouldn't have rung. Not tonight. Not when I was supposed to be dead. I stood at the edge of my own driveway, shadows stretching long across the asphalt, listening to the echo of laughter spilling out from my house. My house. The laughter sounded practiced, like a scene from a play. Glasses clinked, music thumped low. I hadn't seen my wife in 5 years. I had memorized her photo before I went under, but photos don't age, people do. Her voice floated through the open window, familiar, a little harder now, a different accent on my name. And then his laugh. I knew that voice. It was the one that sent me into the fire and never sent a hand to pull me out. My fingers twitched against the coat pocket where my gun lay wrapped in a napkin. It wasn't rage I felt. Rage was hot. This was cold, like an autopsy table. Inside, the party smelled like wine and fresh paint. My wife had redecorated. A new chandelier, white orchids on the counter. All evidence of me erased, as though I'd never existed. He stood beside her, my former handler. Crisp suit, hair perfectly groomed. Arm on her waist, his thumb moving in small, proprietary circles. He looked older, but not broken. He should have been broken. Her eyes caught mine over the rim of her glass. No scream, no smile, just a small flinch, a calculation. "You shouldn't be here," she said. The same voice she once used to whisper "I love you" at 3 a.m. He turned and went white, like a sheet, like a ghost seeing another ghost. "I reported you KIA," he said quietly. "It was the only way." The room fell silent around us, but I barely noticed. All I saw was his hand on her hip. All I heard was the silence after my name in his last transmission. I walked out without a word. I didn't need a scene, I needed facts. Nights became rituals, phone records, bank statements, social media breadcrumbs. She'd built a new life on my insurance payout. He'd taken my place in her bed, at my son's soccer games, at my dinner table. I didn't let myself feel it. I cataloged it, like evidence, like intel. I rented a room under a different name 3 blocks away. Watched their comings and goings, counted how many times his car stayed overnight. I hacked his email, found encrypted exchanges with a shell company tied to an offshore account. The money that was supposed to extract me rerouted instead to buy them a house. Every night, my reflection in the motel mirror looked less like a man, more like a blueprint for something inevitable. I kept my breathing slow. I kept my hands steady. This was not about killing. This was about taking back reality. The proof came in a folder, financial statements, emails, photographs, a complete map of betrayal. My handler had sold me out to the same Russian cell we were infiltrating. My wife had signed the insurance forms the day after my last transmission. I walked into their dinner party 1 week later. No gun, just the folder. The clatter of forks stopped when I laid it on the table. He opened it, page by page, color draining from his face. "This isn't," he started. "Stop," I said. My voice was almost gentle. My wife looked at the documents, then at me. I saw her pupils tighten, the calculation again. She reached for his hand. Not mine, his. That was the moment I stopped being her ghost and became her witness. I slid 2 envelopes across the table. One held the evidence already copied to an encrypted drive scheduled to go public. The other held a signed statement, her signature forged with a precision she'd taught me back when we were poor and reckless. "You'll both resign everything," I said softly. "Accounts, clearances, names. You'll disappear." He opened his mouth. I cut him off with a glance. "If you don't," I continued, "every agency you ever lied to will know what you did, and Moscow will too. You know what they do to traitors." Silence swelled like a living thing. My wife's hand trembled. His lips moved, but no sound came out. I left the envelopes on the table and walked out, knowing they'd spend the rest of their lives looking over their shoulders. Outside, the night air smelled like rain and iron. My old neighborhood lay quiet under street lamps, exactly as it had 5 years ago. But I no longer belonged to it. I thought of my son, our son, sleeping somewhere in that house, probably told his father died a hero. Maybe it was better that way, maybe it wasn't. I didn't cry, I didn't shout, I just walked until the house became a blur behind me. They had taken my life, but I had taken their future. I had reduced them to ghosts before they could bury me again. At the corner, under a flickering streetlight, I stopped and looked back one last time. The windows glowed warm and soft. Inside, I imagined panic settling like frost. I turned away. By morning, I would be gone, and this time, no one would know where I went.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.